We're now going to review everyone's favorite unit, which was surface area and volume of different figures. So the most important thing when I'm finding surface area and volume is for me to identify the base of my figure. So in this first problem, I have a rectangular prism. So my base is a rectangle. Now on a rectangular prism, I could really choose any side to be my base. So I am just arbitrarily choosing the one with the 5 and the 6. And then I'm going to look at my two formulas, which are volume equals area of the base times height, and surface area is perimeter times height plus 2 times base. Look at all the information I need. I need area of the base, I need height, and I need the perimeter of the base. Okay, so let's start with area of the base. I have a rectangle, so area is length times width, which would be 30. Height, I've already used the 5 and the 6. Height is the other number in this figure, which is 7. And last, I have perimeter of the base, so I have 5 and 6 together, that's 11. And then I multiply that by 2 to get my two other sides, so 22. And now I substitute those into my different formulas. So volume equals 30 times 7. So my volume is 210. Surface area equals perimeter of 22 times a height of 7 plus 2 times my base of 30. And that gives me a surface area of 214. I could repeat the exact same process with this cube, since a cube really is just a special rectangular prism where everything is the same size. But sometimes we can work smarter, not harder. So in a cube, that means all my edges are the same. So 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. So I like to just do that. The volume is length times width times height, which is 2.5 cubed, or written out 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5. So my volume is approximately 15.6. It's actually 0.625. There's a longer way you could do it, but that's how I would do it. Surface area, when I do it, I really just calculate the area of one face, one side, and multiply by 6 because I have 6 of the same squares. But I'll use the normal formula, which is perimeter times height plus 2 times area of the base. So the perimeter of my base is 2.5 times 4, which would be 10. So my perimeter is 10 times my height is 2.5 plus 2 times area of my base. Area of my base is 2.5 times 2.5, which would be 6.25, which gives us a final answer of 37.5. Once again, what I would have done is said that each of these squares has an area of 6.25, and I have 6 of those, so 6.25 times 6 is 37.5. If that made sense, cool. If it didn't, just let it go and use the formula. Alright, so now I have a trapezoid. So once again, the first thing I'm going to do is outline my base, which is the shape that kind of jumps out at you when you look at this. So I see a trapezoid. Alright, so I'm going to bring over some of my numbers to this first trapezoid. 8, and then we also had the little hash mark, so it's an isosceles trapezoid, so this is 5. Okay, so same things. I need my perimeter, I need my height, I need my area of my base. So perimeter of my base, right here. What numbers are part of my base? 5, 3, 5, and 8. So if I add up all of those together, I get 10 and 11, so I get 21. My height is the other number hanging out here. It's the one right there, which would be 4. And then I need my trapezoid formula, which is 1/2 height times b1 plus b2. And when I use this height, it's talking about the height of my trapezoid, which is 4.3. And then I have b1, I'm going to call that 8, and b2, we'll say 3, doesn't matter which one you call that. And I simplify all that, and I get that my area of my base is 23.65. Now we use the same formulas. Volume equals base times height. So area of my base is 23.65. Height is 4. So my volume is 94.6. Surface area is perimeter times height plus 2 times base. Perimeter is 21. Height is 4 plus 2 times area of my base was 23.65. And combine all that, and I get 131.3. All right. Now we start getting a little bit more complicated here. Now I have a right triangular prism. So what are the things I need? I need perimeter, height, area of my base. Okay, so what did I say was the first thing we need to do? We need to identify what is our base. And sometimes, especially the more complicated the problem gets, the better it is to come over here and draw your base separately so that you can think things through. Okay, so those are the numbers with my base. This other number is my height. So I'm going to go ahead and say my height is 4, and now I don't care about the 4 anymore. I also need perimeter of my base. So for me to find perimeter of my base, which I've drawn in red, I need to get what this side is, and it's a right triangle, so I can use Pythagorean Theorem. Now, isn't it so nice that I gave you a Pythagorean triple, so 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. So if that side is 13, and we add 13 plus 12 plus 5, we get that my perimeter is 30. Last, I need area of my base, which is a triangle. So we're going to use that. Area of a triangle is 1/2 little b times height. Once again, this is height of my base. This is why it might help those of you who really struggled with finding area of base. It might help to totally draw your base separate from a picture. So 1/2 times 12 times 5, which also gives me 34, my base. Now we plug it into our normal formulas we used on the other problems. Volume equals base times height. Volume equals 30 times 4, so 120. Surface area is perimeter times height plus 2 times your base. Perimeter was 30. Height is 4 plus 2 times your base is 30. So that gives us 180. All right. First step again, identify your base, which is a hexagon, and in particular a regular hexagon. You know that by all the little hash marks. So I need 3 things: perimeter, height, and area of my base. So perimeter of my base, it's a hexagon and side length of 10, so that means my perimeter is 60. 14 is the height of my prism, and now I need the area of my base, which we're going to use since it's a regular polygon, 1/2 perimeter times apothem. Well, we have perimeter, that's 60, so I need to find my apothem. Once again, a lot of times it helps if we draw our base separately. So I'm just going to draw the hexagon. It has a side length of 10, and when we want to do stuff with the apothem, that goes halfway between the side. The next thing is knowing that this makes a 30, 60, 90 triangle, where the 30 degrees is up at the top near the center of the hexagon, and the 60 degrees is on the bottom part next to the vertex. So if that side opposite the 30 is 5, that means the side opposite the 60, aka the apothem, is 5 square root 3. And when all of that simplifies, I get that my base is, turn the page on my paper, going to be 150 square root 3. Now we need to plug into our two normal formulas, which would be volume equals base times height. My base was 150 root 3, height of 14. So that gives me 2100 square root 3. Surface area is perimeter, which is 60 times height 14, plus 2 times my base was 150 root 3. And that gives me 840 plus 300 square root 3. Alright, last prism is this one over here. What kind of base is it? It's an equilateral triangle. Okay, so my base, I'm going to draw over here. I need three things: perimeter, height, area of my base. So perimeter of my base, which I've drawn in red, is 24. Height is 10. And now I need to find area of my base. There are two ways to do this. One is significantly easier. I know I'm going to use special right triangles. What I want to pay attention to is the fact that this 8 does not have a root 3. In which case, it would be really nice if this whole number was opposite my 30-degree angle. Since it's an equilateral triangle, that means all my angles are 60 degrees. So I'm going to conveniently split my original triangle into two, right in half. So this bottom segment would be 4, and then opposite is going to be a height of 4 square root 3. Because, let me draw this triangle really enlarged right here. You don't have to, but I'm going to. I have 4, 8, and then this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So 30 degrees, and then opposite 60 degrees means it would be 4 root 3. And that gives me the entire height of my triangle. So I'm going to use 1/2 little b, which is 8, times my triangle height of 4 square root 3, which gives me 16 square root 3 for my base. So volume equals area of the base, which is 16 square root 3, times height, which is 10. So 160 square root 3. Surface area is perimeter, which is 24, times height, which is 10, plus 2 times area of the base, which was 16 square root 3. So that gives me 240 plus 32 square root 3. Now let's look at pyramids. So for pyramids, we have different formulas. Volume equals 1/3 base times height, and surface area equals 1/2 perimeter times slant height plus area of the base. So I have different things than before that I want to find. I need base, height, perimeter of the base, and slant height. So let's see what I'm given initially. Initially, I'm given my height, and I'm given the side lengths of my base. So my base here is a square. So area of my base would be 11 times 11, which is 121. Perimeter of my base would mean add 11 4 times, so 44 for that. So the only thing I really need to find in this one is my slant height. To find slant height, You know I'm really good at my drawings right here. I'm going to draw a right triangle. I know my height is 12. I'm solving for my slant height. And this is a square, so the apothem ends at the center, which is going to be just half of a side. So half of 11 would be 5.5. It's a right triangle, so I can do some Pythagorean Theorem. 12 squared plus 5.5 squared equals L squared. So L, my slant height, is about 13.2. And now I have everything I need for my formulas. So volume equals 1/3, area of the base was 121, times my height of 12. So my volume is 484. Surface area, perimeter is 44, so 1/2 of 44, times a slant height of about 13.2, plus the area of my base, which was 121. So surface area is about 411.4. Now for everyone's seriously favorite question. Just kidding. Alright, same two things. Volume is 1/3 base times height. Surface area is 1/2 perimeter times, I really don't have these memorized, y'all. Yes, slant height plus base. So what do I need? Base, area of base, sorry. Height, perimeter, slant height. Alright, what do we have given to us? We have slant height of 25, and we have a side length. Okay, not so helpful, right? That is really not any of the other things I need, but I could easily find perimeter from that. So if one side is 30√3, then that means all three sides together would give me 90 square root 3. Alright, so then I need to find area of the base. So I'm going to draw my base separately, just like I said is a good strategy. My base here is an equilateral triangle. So here's my beautiful, I know you think it is, 30 square root 3. Square root 3, there's my equilateral triangle. So I'm going to use that base is 1/2 perimeter times apothem. Why am I doing this? This time, instead of doing 1/2 base times height, I want to do the one with the apothem because I have a square root of 3 already going on and I don't like it and I want it to go away. Go away. So this time, coming from the center is my 60-degree angle. So I'm going to split the 30√3 in half, and that gives me 15 square root 3. So then if opposite the 60-degree angle is 15 square root 3, that means my apothem is 15. So base equals 1/2. Perimeter, we said already, is 90 square root 3. And then my apothem is 15. So area of my base is going to be 375 root 3. Then I need my height. I'm going to label where that apothem is. Let's say we used blue. So my apothem is 15. So right here is 15 in my original diagram. And the last thing I need is to find my height. So we found our apothem is 15. Slant height is 25. Guess what we can use? Pythagorean Theorem. Woo! All y'all out there who are not my students are now thinking I'm really crazy. Well, I am. It's okay. There we go. Height is going to be 20. I gave you another Pythagorean triple. I'm so nice. So now we have everything we need to plug into our formulas. So volume equals 1/3. Area of the base is 675 root 3. I had said the wrong thing earlier, but I've gone back and fixed it. Times height of 20. And I didn't simplify this out on my paper, so I'm just going to take the L and leave that. You can multiply it on the calculator, though. 1/2 90 square root 3 times slant height of 25 plus area of the base correctly is 675 square root 3. I did all my calculations before recording this video and have just been looking at them. Sorry about that. Okay, next we're only going to find surface area. So my surface area formula is 1/2 perimeter slant height plus base. So those are the three things I need. Perimeter, slant height, base. Okay, so slant height, do I have that? Yep, 28. Perimeter is going to be 20 times 6 because it's a hexagon, so 120. Look at that, I have two of the three things I need. So we have a hexagon, so I want to use 1/2 perimeter times apothem. So 1/2 perimeter is 120. All I need is my apothem. What should I do? Draw my hexagon. Yeah, so the whole thing is 20. To find my apothem, I need to split the 20 in half. This makes a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So then my apothem is going to be 10 square root of 3. So area of my base is going to be 600 square root 3. And we plug in our three values into our formula. So surface area is 1/2, perimeter is 120, slant height is 28, plus my base is 600 square root 3. So 1680 plus 600 square root 3. Volume is 1/3 area of base times height. So I only need two things, area of my base and my height. So my height is 11. For base, I'm going to use 1/2 perimeter times apothem. So 1/2, my perimeter is 8 times 6, which is 48, times my apothem. What should I do? Draw a picture. 8, 4 square root 3. So 4 square root 3, which means the area of my base is 96 square root 3. So volume equals 1/3, 96 square root 3 times a height of 11. So we get 352 square root of 3. Also notice I'm not doing any decimals here, like in terms of with the square root 3, we're just leaving the square root 3. Alright, now we liked cones and cylinders and stuff pretty well. So yeah, we finally got to the better part. So for my volume of a cone, I have pi r squared h. And from this diagram, I have that my radius is 2 and my height is 7. So my volume is going to be about 9.3 pi. We want to leave everything in terms of pi. Surface area, I need pi RL plus pi r squared. So I need my slant height for this. So I'm going to draw a right triangle. We have a radius of 2, height of 7. I need my slant height. So I'm going to do 2 squared plus 7 squared equals slant height squared. And my slant height ends up being about 7.3. Plug her in. So pi times 2 times 7. That looks like 4. 7.3 plus pi times 2 squared. You can treat pi like an x in terms of just adding the coefficients together, and when I do that, I get about 18.6 pi. Alright, cylinder. This one's trying to be tricky. It gave you the diameter, so we want to use a radius of 11 for my formulas. Oh, I need to divide by 3. Whoop, divide by 3. Divide by 3. I did it for my final answer. I just glanced over it when I was writing. Alright, cylinder. This is the one that's pi r squared h. Whew. We're almost there. You can do it. I believe in you. Alright, you like me being cheesy? So, pi times 11 squared times 10. So my volume is 1,210 pi. Surface area is 2 pi r squared. That gives you your top and bottom, plus 2 pi r h. That gives you going around. 2 pi r is 11 squared plus 2 pi r is 11 times height is 10. Once again, treat pi like you would treat x and combine all the numbers. I get 462 pi. And finally, almost done. We've almost made it. Spheres. Okay, so for a sphere, all I need is my radius, which for this would be 8. So my volume is 4/3 pi r, which is 8 cubed. We have a fraction, so we're going to approximate that as 682.7 pi, even though there's a repeating decimal. Surface area is pi r squared. Or, sorry, 4 pi r squared. I wrote it down. Alright. And my r is 8. And I multiply all that and get 256 pi. You did it.